doing a multi-platform social media campaign where we're integrating tweets and Gmap postings and Facebook mini sites and G+. We're trying to reach an audience that hasn't found eLit before. We all have used social media avocationally. But in terms of using it strategically, we don't. You have to have a purpose in order to do that. And we wanted to start figuring out what are the affordances of the platforms. And then new things happen all the time. You know, like we get an email about Invisible Seattle. Can you do something with Invisible Seattle? We're like, sure we can. Oh, let's change that. Boom. So we had to bump some things. And then Alan Bigelow so graciously made that video for us. Awesome. That now goes to the top of the pile because it's a done, beautiful art piece. You've got to put that out. So, you know, learning how to go with the flow is also one of our goals in experiential learning. We're definitely a classroom without a stop button.
Well, first we had to figure out what design we wanted to follow, how we wanted it set up, what sort of things we wanted to feature on the site. There are different apps that you can use in the site, and once we figured that out, then we were able to start building it.
We figured what we needed was some sort of introductory splash page that would then bounce them to what I call a mini site.
So it's a website that's actually hosted somewhere else, and it's just plugged into Facebook.
We've got a section on it for artist profiles, kind of a quick intro page that welcomes you, says what we're about, and then the idea was is they would hit a splash page, and then before they see the mini site, they have to like us.
So we made use of the wall, where we have constant engagement with our audience. And then the mini site is really where there's a lot more learning going on that looks more in-depth into various artists that will be featured at the exhibit. There's links to the official website, our YouTube channel, our Twitter, our Google+, everything is there.
The whole main idea behind it was to be a main resource for people to go and get information that talks about the eLit exhibit. It was basically kind of a spot where they can get all the information that they need, bios on authors, the location and all the information that you need when the convention starts, coffee shops that they can go to, gyms that they can go check out, hotels, pretty much just anything that you would need. And we added pictures, we added animations.
We put the location of all the eLit authors around the country and actually around the world. So you can click on any one of those and it gives you links to the eLit with that author created.
There are people coming from all over the world to come join this.
So with the research, what I did is I went through all the authors and I researched them on the internet, like trying to find their Facebook pages, their Twitter accounts, their Google Plus accounts, anything like that, so that when we would go in later, we'd have all this information ready to go.
Using that, it was really nice. We have a really nice research doc. Everything's laid out, people's profiles are all there. All I had to do was go in, set up the Google+. Actually, we had to make a fake account. And then we used this fake account to then create a fan page for the program. So I was able to use her research, which is all laid out, and start following people just to set up that process. And now we're to the point where we're actually pushing content.
So just involved going through a list of resources, consolidating, finding interesting pieces, removing excessive exclamation points and compressing things to 140 characters. Basically just making it interesting and something worth clicking. So it's an exercise in being efficient with language and making it useful to someone reading. So that when you see a tweet, it goes by in a snap second, so you have to make someone stop and read it.
People think about social media, they think that it's ephemeral and they think perhaps that it's trivial. But in order for students to do this campaign, they had to do a significant amount of research about electronic literature. Some students in the class had experience reading and even writing eLit, but the majority of them didn't. So they created this, a research check-in. They created avatars for themselves, and then they created a timeline and comments about what they were actually researching. So this was the basis for the entire social media campaign. Individual works researched with additional supplementary links, and sometimes we have personal information that we didn't put on the Gmap, or which was originally on the Gmap, but we yanked out. So this was the way that the students gathered their information and collaborated on aggregating it all into one easy to follow place. Research, Inception.